Next up is the mesh concept. We're going to start with what we call mid-mesh. Stands for middle mesh point. It's about a 5-yard depth where the two wide receivers are going to cross. For our purposes to get started, we can kind of ignore the fly route here and the dig route. These are just to help clear out some of the defense. We'll get to those reads as options in a more advanced course. For now, we're going to focus on the primary read being that mesh point. So let's diagram this out. Our two slot receivers, we're going to be aiming for that mesh point after the ball snapped. Like I said, about 5 yards of depth. One tip to tell your wide receivers, regardless of how your mesh play is run on your specific team, these two guys should be running extremely close to each other. They need to be really tight. You should tell them they should be able to slap hands, like a low high five as they're crossing. That's going to help make the defenders run into each other, right? Or help you recognize if it's zone coverage. Now let's go over some of the common coverages that you're going to see. First up, cover 2 man. If you remember from the pre-snap quizzes in the QB Reads app, do those first. If you have not done those, go back and do those before you get to this mesh course. It's going to help you a lot with the identification of the coverage. Cover 2 man, the safeties are going to have deep halves. And these either linebackers or it might be a nickel corner are going to be manned up on your slot guys. The middle here is probably going to be responsible for the running back. Okay, and we're man-to-man over here. So as this mesh action happens, this guy's going to be following him. This one in man-to-man with him. This is why it's important to have that tight cross, because as that cross happens, these two defenders are either going to run into each other or they're going to have to take longer angles over the top or undercutted on the bottom, and your wide receivers should be able to get separation with their speed. So these throwing windows are usually going to be a little bit farther to the left or to the right. And on your read, you should just be seeing who has the biggest gap. Next up, let's look at cover 2 and cover 4. Both are going to be very similar. The safeties are taking the deep halves. Now these linebacker drops are going to be a bit different than man, right? They're going to be dropping back, eyes to the quarterback. So as this mesh happens, you're going to need to see where these drops are, okay? The throwing window might come here, or it might be after that zone drop, depending on where they are. For example, on this side, this linebacker is starting a little bit further in. His drop might be a little bit closer to the middle of the field, the hash. You're going to have to wait for that crosser to get behind him, and that throwing window is going to be out here. Now let's look at cover 3. Cover 3, one of the safeties is going to have that deep third. The other one's going to be rolling down into the play. So in this case, if they're rolling to the quarterback's right, when this crossing action happens after the mesh, this roll down safety is likely going to be in that throwing window for one of your mesh wide receivers. Okay, so this is going to be a no throw. You'll want to look that off and go to the left, and then we return to being aware of where the window is. If he's here, we're going to hold on a little bit, throw it later. If this linebacker ends up covering flats out here, that throw can come a little bit earlier right here. All right, head over to the Repping Mid-Mesh course and start practicing it.